Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmiritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavanishwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabho Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. In the second unit, we have studied the chapters starting from 7. In the 7th chapter, it is the beginning of Shravana, that is hearing of subject matter related to the Lord, so that we can begin the devotional service, that is Bhakti Yoga. And in the 8th chapter, it is explaining about different topics, and finally Krishna emphasizes the importance of Ananya Bhakti, the practice of unalloyed devotional service. Prabhupada has coined the word unalloyed for the devotional service. Alloy means mixture. If you mix too many metals together, it will become alloy. But unalloyed means without any mixture. That means without any desire, personal desire. That is called unalloyed devotional service or Ananya Bhakti. This is very much emphasized in the 8th chapter. And one who performs the unalloyed devotional service, one who is doing the Ananya Bhakti, he don't have to worry about at what time he is giving up the body. Because 8th chapter is especially talking about how to live this material world and go back to Godhead. So a person who is performing the devotional service, pure devotional service, he don't have to think about the timings at which he is giving up the body or the situation in which he is at the time of death. Now, in the 9th chapter, this is the most confidential knowledge, which is called Raja Vidya Raja Guhya Yoga. This is the confidential knowledge about all, among all. Here, how to practice this Ananya Bhakti, or how to achieve this Ananya Bhakti, which is the essence of all the Shastra, all the literatures, whatever we hear, the do's and don'ts in the Vedic scripture, it is all for bringing us to this platform, that is Ananya Bhakti. Smartavyam Satatam Krishna Vismartavyam Na Jatuchit. Sarva Vidhi Nishedasyur Yetayoreva Kinkaraha. Sarva Vidhi Nisheda. Vidhi means to do, Nisheda means not to do. These all, whatever instructions are there in the Vedic literature, it is all the subordinates for this one principle. What is that? Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. So both are needed. Smartavyam Satatam Krishna, Vismartavyam Na Jatuchit. From both sides we have to work. We have to work such a way that we get more and more opportunity to remember Krishna, and we should not work in such a way that we may get the forgetfulness of Krishna. So in both ways, both directions, we should protect our devotional life so that we can also come to this platform of pure devotional service. Now let us start with the study. Let us pay our humble obeisances to Shri Shri Radha Govinda, Shri Shri Gaurnitai and Srila Prabhupada. Shri Shri Radha Govinda ki jai, Shri Shri Gaurnitai ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In the previous chapter, that is in the last class, we have seen the principles of transmigration, that is 8th chapter. Then Yoga Mishra Bhakti, that is performing the Bhakti by taking some other yoga system as a support. And Ananya Bhakti, without any deviation, completely surrendering to the Lord. Then Krishna also gives some comparison between material world and spiritual world. Because if we are going to a spiritual world, we should have some idea how that spiritual world is, how it is different from this material world. Then we can desire to go there. So Krishna is giving some glimpses how the spiritual world is different from this material world. Then finally, pure devotees' passage to the supreme abode is guaranteed by devotional service. It is independent of the time and circumstances in which they give up the body, because Krishna has taken the personal responsibility to take the devotee back to Godhead. In this unit 2, we have done with 2 chapters, 7 and 8. Next, continuing to 9th chapter. Today, we are doing 12 texts, 1 to 12. So continuing further from the previous discussion, the Lord is encouraging Arjuna. Lord Krishna, in order to encourage Arjuna to higher and higher elevation in his potent service, describes in this 9th chapter matters more confidential than any he has already disclosed. Here, the Lord is repeating certain points, because of which in further text, we will see this is the most important, this is the most important shloka, like that many times it will come. So we may wonder why Krishna is telling in 9th chapter, he is telling that is important. In 10th chapter, again, he says, this is the most important. Again, in 15th chapter, again, he says, this is the most important knowledge. Like that, he goes on repeating. Then which is the most important? If everything is important, then we can't say most important. But the principle behind it, whatever instruction he is giving, it is the same. So whenever he is talking about the pure devotional service, he will emphasize it as this is the most important instruction. Just like in the schools, the teacher says, this is the most important question every student should know. In every exam, they will ask this. So you should give more attention while hearing. So Krishna is making us to hear more attentively this 9th chapter. Let us see the comparison. In the 7th chapter, which is called as Jnana Vijnana Yoga, that is knowledge of the absolute. And 8th chapter is called Akshara Brahma Yoga, or attaining the supreme. And 9th chapter is Raja Vidya Rajaguhya Yoga, most confidential knowledge. The 7th chapter and 9th chapter, there is some similarity that we can see. But here in 9th chapter, it is more giving more importance for the bhakti. And in the 7th chapter, it is more talking about the process. So in 7th chapter, what we have seen, fix your mind on Krishna, and Krishna is the source of everything. So first he says, Shravanam, hear and fix your mind. And how to fix? By knowing that Krishna is everything. If he knows something to be all-pervading, he is the controller of everything, then we can remember him easily. Then who understands this, he will surrender to Krishna. And some of the impediments, that is, instead of surrendering to Krishna, people may surrender to demigods because the result is very quick, and certain people will have impersonal tendency by this is impersonal tendency is because we have not surrendered to any devotees, or we have not taken the association of devotees. Then obviously a person will end up with impersonal understanding, because this material world cannot be compared to the spiritual world. Whatever things that are giving pain here will give in the spiritual world the pleasure. That means the body, which is the source of all the pain, what we have here, this material body. But in spiritual world, we have the spiritual body, and in that there is no pain. It is Satchidananda. That is, it is always full of knowledge, full of bliss, and it is eternally existing. So when a person compares the problems in this material world, he'll think that when I get liberated, I will not have any body. I will be completely giving up my identity, because my identity itself is the problem. But when a person comes in touch with the devotees, then there is a chance for understanding Krishna. Next, 8th chapter, it is answering the eight questions that is asked by Arjuna. And the most important part in that is how to give up this body. Remembering Krishna at the time of death, Prayana Kale. And then finally Krishna says Ananya Bhakta can attain the supreme abode. And this 9th chapter is teaching us how to practice that Ananya Bhakti, which is explained in the 8th chapter. And then when we practice Ananya Bhakti, in the same chapter, Krishna says, he is partial to those people, those bhakta, those devotees who practice Ananya Bhakti. Krishna is giving some special concession, or he is giving some personal interest for those people who practice Ananya Bhakti. It does not mean that Krishna is partial to his own living entity or his own children, because we all are being protected by the Lord. Then why Krishna is being partial to certain kind of people? So this question may be arised. But here we should understand the process for practicing Ananya Bhakti is open to all. Anybody can practice Ananya Bhakti. Only thing is he has to desire it. Durdaivam idrisha mihajani anuraga. Anuraga. The anuraga should be there for practicing Ananya Bhakti. Then anybody can do that. In that case, there is no partiality from Krishna. But once a person decides to serve Krishna, then Krishna will take direct interest or direct care for that devotee. Ananyas chintayanto mam yejana pariyupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahami aham. Other living entities are being protected by the demigods or the material world, the system which is made by the Lord. But Ananya Bhakta, or pure devotees of the Lord, they are directly taken care by the Lord. So these all are the advantages of practicing Krishna consciousness directly. Yeah, Pooja Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
The very beginning of Bhagavad Gita, the first chapter, is more or less an introduction to the rest of the book. And in the second and the third chapters, the spiritual knowledge described is called confidential. Topics discussed in the 7th and 8th chapters are specifically related to devotional service. Hare Krishna.
Continue.
Okay. And because they bring enlightenment in Krishna consciousness, they are called more confidential. But the matters which are described in the 9th chapter deal with the unalloyed pure devotion. Therefore, this is called the most confidential. Purport 9.1. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So here, this is Guhya, Guhyatara, and Guhyatama. This 9th chapter is like in the superlative degree. Guhya Guhyatara, Guhyatama. Guhyatama is the 9th chapter. The beginning of Bhagavad Gita, instructions from by the Lord, it is starting with the chapter number 2. Arjuna is telling 5 reasons why he doesn't want to fight. And in the 2nd chapter, Krishna gives all the reasons. Whatever Arjuna told, it all defeated in the 2nd chapter itself. But from 3rd chapter onwards, he will explain every topic once again clearly. So from 2nd chapter, it is up to the 6th chapter. It is called as Guhya Jnana. Guhya Jnana means this knowledge is not available in the general studies in the schools and colleges, because this is the science of the soul, where the scientist may get some idea, or they may get some doubt about the existence of the soul after doing thorough research work, or after doing so much of scientific advancement. They may get some idea, oh, there must be something which is taking care, which is there in this body. But Bhagavad Gita begins with that. But in Bhagavad Gita, that is the basics knowledge. That is the identity of the soul, the person. Because unless a person identifies himself, he will not be able to understand what is the purpose of his life. It's like a person who takes a job in a company. What he will get first he will get his identity card. And in that it will be written what is his position. And based on that position, his all duties will be decided. Unless he gets that identity, he cannot start his job. Similarly, Krishna is giving the identity for each and every living entity by removing the darkness that we have in our mind. That is done in the chapter 2 to 6. So that is also not ordinary. That is the Guhya Jnana, that is confidential knowledge. Then next from 7 to 8, 7 and 8, it is the Guhya Tara, or it is the more confidential knowledge. Because in the beginning, 2 to 6, it is talking about the Jiva, in that the living entity is kept at the center. It is all talking about the living entity, how he has come here, what is the cause of his bondage, and how to practice the spirituality. To some extent, it is explained. But as soon as we cross 6th chapter and come to 7th chapter, the Lord is kept at the center. And the relation between the living entity and the Lord is explained in the 7th chapter, 7th, 8th, and all coming chapters. So that's why it's called as Guhya Tara Jnana. It is more confidential. To know the soul is itself confidential, and knowing about the Lord and the relation between the Lord and the living entity, it is even more confidential. And even more than that, what is the most confidential knowledge is to establish that relationship. It is not only understanding that I am the living entity, that is the soul, and not only understanding that there is Lord who is maintaining me, and it is also not enough to understand that there is some relation between me and the Lord, and I have lost it now. It is most important to re-establish this relationship, which is lost. Unless we come to that point, whatever we learn in the previous chapters, it is all incomplete, or it is only remaining in the theoretical platform. Just like we hear so many things, but we don't bring it in the realization or practical practice. So this 9th chapter is doing that work to re-establish the relationship with the Supreme Lord, and how to practice pure devotional service is explained in the 9th chapter. That's why it is explained as Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya Yoga. Lata Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Rajavidya Rajaguhya Yoga. Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Dhamuttamam Pratyaksha Vagamam Dharmyam Sukham Kartum Avyayam.
Read the translation.
This knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting and it is joyfully performed. Bhagavad Gita 9.2.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare. In this shloka, each and every word is important. Here, Krishna is telling Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya. Raja means king, king of all the knowledge, king of all the secrets, and Pavitram, it is the purifying. Idam Uttamam. Uttama means it is above the darkness. Tama means darkness. Uttama, Udgatatama. Uttama means which is above the darkness, or which is in light, or which enlightens us. Pratyaksha avagamam, that is, it will give direct perception. Anybody who practices Krishna consciousness, he can practically see that there is a transformation that is happening in his life. When a person generally comes to spirituality, or in the beginning, he may argue or he may challenge. Okay, if there is God, let me see God. But if you are really interested to know God, just take to the process. Just like we have to take the admission in the college, then only we'll start our studies or our education begins. We cannot just go and challenge the professor in the college. Okay, you can, if your science is proved, means if you are having so much of knowledge, then prove that this derivation or whatever. So you have to take the admission and you have to surrender. Then only you will get that knowledge. Similarly, when a person surrenders to the process and when he agrees to practice it, he will see it. Pratyaksha avagamam. He can see, just like when we eat, our hunger is gone. We don't have to ask anyone to check whether my hunger has gone or not. It is already there. You yourself will feel whether I'm advancing in Krishna consciousness or I'm going down or what is happening, I can feel myself. Pratyaksha dharmyam. Susukham kartum avyayam. It is the susukham. There is no difficulty. As we have seen in the 6th chapter, you have to go to the place, the forest alone and stay there and perform so many austerities. So such things are not there here. It is susukham kartum avyayam. Anybody can practice this and anyone can get the benefit from this. That's why it's called as susukham kartum avyayam. Pratyaksha avagamam dharmyam. Dharmyam means to practice, or the one which dharayati, one which is taking care of us. By practicing Krishna consciousness, we will come under the shelter of the Lord. Now let us see what Srila Prabhupada has given the explanation for each and every word of this. So discuss main philosophical points of given section and give brief presentation for 2 minutes. These are the topics. We'll make 5 groups now. First group will talk about Raja Vidya. Why this knowledge is called as king of knowledge, Raja Vidya. Second, Raja Guhyam. Second group will be talking about Raja Guhyam. Third group, Pavitram Uttamam. This is the purest knowledge. And fourth group, Pratyaksha Avagamam Dharmyam. This is the one can realize it practically. Then Susukham Kartum Avyayam. Joyfully perform. Hope everyone got the question. So these you have to discuss the main philosophical points given by Srila Prabhupada under these 5 subheadings. So let us make, hope everyone got the question. Okay, I'll make 5 groups, 3 minutes for discussion, 2 minutes for presentation. Your time starts now. Okay, Hare Krishna. Welcome back. Yes, Siddharth Prabhu, Hare Krishna, you can start.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
So our is Prataksha Abhagamanam.
Okay.
That is direct perception without any theoretical knowledge. Prataksha, absolute direct. Abhagamam is understanding, experience. So primarily it says that if somebody is simply engaged in devotional service without any education, without any kind of formal, any kind of spiritual, so-called religious principles also, it just engages in just the Mahamantra and the transcendental service, of course, unalloyed, then he will have the direct perception, and slowly and steadily, he will find that in his experience of his daily life, there will be events, there will be incidents which he can understand himself, that what was in the past and how things are happening in his life. And the example, and there is one more thing which also it talks about, is that in the Vedanta Sutra, there is there is a line which is called Prakasascha Karmani Abhyasat. So devotional service is something which is so potent that simply by engaging in the activities of the devotional service, one becomes enlightened without a doubt. Na samshayam. And the example here was given was of Narada's experience when in one of his incarnation he was a boy, and then he was seeking, I mean, he was fortunate to have the association of various rishis, and he was taking the remnants of the food that they took, and slowly by hearing, so all this Sravanam, Kirtanam, all this when it happens, slowly and steadily he also develops that taste, and that was very, very practical. And that is something which is not just by practicing any theoretical or religious dogmas. It is a direct perception, because it has become slowly and steadily in his life, and that is what in Bhagavatam also he's saying that. So that is why the Prakasascha Karmani Abhyasat is there. One is engaged simply in the act of devotional service, everything is revealed. So this is what the purport says. But as far as our personal experience is concerned, also, I think it is worthwhile to mention that at least, I mean, everyone can vouch for themselves. I am only telling about myself that yes, there are so many incidents which are happening in my own life, which is unimaginable before. So things, some of the prophecies also are coming into place. So there is a grace you feel all around. So all this happens, and there's a very, very practical perception which happens, and the perception of your whole perception of all around changes fully, and the clarity also happens to a tremendous extent. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you. Vijay Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So we got the words Pavitram Uttamam. So in the Padma Purana, it is said that whenever a man performs sinful activities, so his activities, he get entangled based on the form of the sinful activities that he is performing. So here an example of a seed is given. Whenever a seed of particular plant is sown, the tree does not appears immediately. So it takes time. First it becomes a small sprouting plant, then it becomes a small tree, then flowers come, and then fruits come. So likewise, the sinful action that we have performed, that we get slowly and steadily entangled to it, and we have to come out of it. But the devotional service is so pure that if we just start the devotional service in the purest form, we can immediately perceive the results, and there are direct results. Like one more example is given, like whenever we chant the Maha Mantra, that is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Then in the course of chanting itself, we get so much pleasure that we can experience the what we can say, the positive vibes of the Maha Mantra. So it is Pavitram, and it is the best. That is Uttamam. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Professor. Hare Krishna. Akhila Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Ours is Raja Guhya Yoga.
Okay.
So Raja, it is the purest knowledge, king of all knowledge, most confidential knowledge, and it is the most secret of secret, which gives self-realization. Like this Raja Guhya, it involves understanding and finding the difference between Atma and Sharira. It includes high level of devotional service. Atma is the most important part of Sharira. Without Atma, Sharira becomes dead. Still, like most people get entangled or attached to the bodily activity. So Atma is always active. It's always Sakriya, and it is Nitya Sanatana. The person who will do full of sinful activities, that is Papa Karma, or even like full of PS or full of punya activities, still like will not aid for the process of liberation from this material world because of the vasanas, the previous janmas or this janmas vasanas, unable to get liberated from this material world. Only by engaging devotional service towards Lord is the only method to get liberation from this material world. That's all. That's all, Guru.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Raghunath Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
We got Susukam, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Susukam means blissful, that is happiness. Simply by performing our hearing, chanting, and offering prasad, taking prasadam that is offered to the Lord, will be more blissful. God does not. God accepts only love. That is. Anything can be offered to God, like patram, pushpam, farantoyam, like leaf, flower, fruit, or water. There is no like social. It does not consider social status, caste, creed, or something like that. Anything is offered to Lord with love is will be accepted by the God. By this way, we can be more blissful and happy by performing our services to the Lord.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Anu Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I was in room number 1, so I assume I had the Rajvidya.
Yes.
So, Prabhupada is saying here that Rajvidya is this knowledge is 9th chapter is Rajvidya because 6th, 7th is Rajvidya because it is giving it is king of all knowledge, education, because there are various philosophies which are concerned with our consciousness. There are various philosophers also, and there are various material fields of education also which describe our existence. But this knowledge, this science of spiritual science, is the king of education because it has combined all philosophies given by various established philosophers and Vedanta Sutra, and has come out with the knowledge which is correct, spiritually correct, and convincing. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Okay, let us continue our discussion. In this way, we have seen the importance of this first shloka. Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Pratyakshaavagamam Dharmyam Susukham Kartum Arvyam. Let us see what Prabhupada says here. Puja Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thus, the process of devotional service of Krishna consciousness is the king of all education and the king of all confidential knowledge. It is the purest form of religion and it can be executed joyfully without difficulty. Therefore, one should adopt it. Hare Krishna. 9.2 purport. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So, a person who is in the jail, he is behind the bar. Now, somebody comes to him and gives him the key of that jail, and he will explain how to come out of this jail. He is the most dearest friend for that person because he can come out and he can get the freedom. So similarly, Krishna is giving the key for us to get liberated or get delivered from this entanglement of material world. Otherwise, it is not possible because we are called as eternally bound or Nityabaddha Jiva. Nityabaddha means generally the living entity never thinks of coming out of this material world. We just try to make settlement here itself. That's why Krishna also says here, this is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Don't try to become happy here. You will never become happy because this is not a place for becoming happy. But we do so much of adjustment. We try to make so many settlements so that we will be able to live here eternally. But one day everyone has to give up whatever they have, including their own body. Whatever we possess, we connect everything to our name or our body. Everything is just like if you have some property, it will be in your name, and that name belongs to the body. And if we give up that body itself, then everything gone with that itself. If the body is gone, then even if we come back with another body, then that property doesn't belong to you, or whatever educational degree that you have made in your previous body, that doesn't belong to you because it is all material. So here Krishna is explaining us, and Srila Prabhupada is explaining us how to get out of this entanglement, which is not so easy. Or to understand that this is the entanglement itself is a great thing. And understanding after that how to get out of this, it is even more difficult to understand. And achieving that liberation or freedom is even more difficult. But Krishna is making everything easy here. He himself is giving this knowledge which is descending, coming through the parampara. And he is guaranteeing that if you practice this, the result I will give you. And this is also made very easy. Just like it is a discounted sale or a discounted process Krishna is giving. Somehow you practice and come back to me. It is all possible because of the mercy of the pure devotees, because pure devotees are always worried about the conditioned soul. That's why the Lord is coming and he is giving the opportunity for all the conditioned souls to purify themselves. Now here is another activity, only 2 activities for today. So this is an activity for drawing. Draw pictures showing Krishna's relationship with the material world. How Krishna is connected to the material world. When he comes here, what is the difference? Our coming and Krishna's coming, what is the difference? There are text number 4 to 10 explaining this concept, that is the Lord's coming here. This is called Aishwarya Jnana, or Krishna's relationship with the material world. So we'll make again 5 groups. Group number 1 will have text number 4, 2, 5, 3, 6, and fourth group 9th text, and 5th group text number 10. So by taking this, you need to draw some graph or some block diagram. Need not be very neat or nothing. You're just giving some idea, whatever is there in your mind. So hope everyone got the question. If anybody has any doubts in the question, they can raise their hands.
Prabhuji, can you please go to the previous slide for 1 minute, please?
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu.
So draw the pictures showing Krishna's relationship with material world. You can give special attention to Sanskrit text, Prabhupada's purports, analogies, all these things. This was also a reading assignment, so you must be knowing. Okay, let us start. So same five groups will be made. The time starts now. Okay, you have 3 minutes for, okay, it will take, now it is time 7:50. 5 minutes. 5 minutes for drawing and 2 minutes for explanation. Hare Krishna. Welcome back to the meeting. So those who are drawn the pictures, they can show it to the camera one by one. You can raise your hand first. and explain the topics according to the shloka number 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10. Please raise your hand. Yes, Prabhuji. Please show to the camera.
Can I present them?
Yeah, you can show the picture.
Yeah. This is something which I have drawn.
Hold it straight, Prabhuji. Okay. Is it a flower, something like?
Yeah, it is just like that. Because the sun is at the center. And the different planets are orbiting around the sun.
Okay.
The sun is giving light and all these things.
Yeah.
But irrespective of the position of the planets. So that influence is there.
This is text number?
Text number 9.4.
Fourth one. Okay.
Yeah. Now the analogy is a government department is working. The head of the government is there. Head of the government is giving some instructions. But the different departments are operating under the guidance of the head of the department. But the head of the department is not visible there, or he is not present there. Just like in a company, we have got a managing director. He is sitting somewhere else. But his instructions are being executed by the different managers. And different shop floor it is coming. So his presence is felt, but he is not actually visible there. So this is just like the sun's effect is there. The sun rays are there. It is influencing all the planets. Or Krishna is entering to all the living in the body or the all living entities, and he is operating through them, but he is not visible. So that is what the pictorially we are trying to represent. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Siddharth Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Unmute yourself. Little away. Okay.
Is it visible?
Yeah. You're drawing some human being.
Yeah, one human being who is getting hanged.
Okay.
Then there is a court judge who is giving some decision. Then the next figure is a jail where somebody is having this thing. This is some wealth, is collecting some wealth. So all these are basically Tani Karmani.
Okay.
So I'm writing the Tani Karmani here, and these Karmani, all these Karmani are their deeds, their own deeds. And Krishna is sitting here unaffected. This is unaffected. And all the Sanskrit particular terms, I think those are not coming. Yes, it is coming, I think, to little extent.
Yeah.
So those terms are Tani Karmani na nibhadhanti. So those deeds do not affect him. And also he remains asaktam. So he remains without the attraction. And also there is another, this is 9.4, but without 9.4 also in some other chapter also we have seen that he has said that name karma phale spruha, name karmani limpanti, that is also there. So it is also showing that. So this, I think these things I will kind of, so I don't know how much it is clear.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Vijay Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji. Is it visible?
Hold steadily for some time. Okay, it is a flower. What is that? Okay, explain, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. It is actually 9.6 verse. So here it is said that all the planets are under the control of the Lord. that even if we can say that the wind is blowing, so not even a blade of grass can move without the will of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it is said that all the planets that are moving are under the control of the Lord. So I have drawn the clouds, the wind that is blowing, and grass is drawn, and 14 all of us, that is the 14 student of this class, that are resting on the will of the God. And you, Prabhuji, as you're giving us you're trying to give us the knowledge which will connect us to the Lord Krishna. So at the bottom, Krishna's name is written.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Puja Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
I will just show my.
Unmute your video.
Yeah, sorry. Yes, Prabhuji. So now I have to go here, right? So this is I have done, Prabhuji. Our shlok is shloka number 10, Prabhuji. Mayyadhyakshena prakrutihi suyate sacharacharam hetunanena kaunteya jagadvi parivartate. So this says clearly, Prabhuji, that it is a seed-giving father. Lord himself is a seed-giving father, which is giving a seed to the material nature. So he is producing the seed in the womb of the material nature, from where the 84 lakhs of species are coming out. So they are taking the different shapes. So this particular thing that God has created, Lord has created everything, but he is completely detached from that. And this has been explained with the example of this, which I have drawn this way, Prabhuji, that it is giving with the example in the Smriti, that as a fragrant flower. So if we keep a fragrant flower in front of us, then the fragrance can be sensed by the smelling power of the person, but still the fragrance and the flower remains detached from each other. So this is how the same connection between the material world and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he has nothing to do with this material world, but he creates by his glance and organs. So in summary, material nature without the superintendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot do anything. Yet the Supreme Personality of Godhead is detached from all material activities. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you. Khila Mataji. Unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna Guruji, not only me, Lata Mataji and like Archana Mataji, all we three are participating.
Okay.
Mataji is listening.
Oh, they are not there? Lata Mataji?
No,
We are here, Prabhuji. We are here. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, this is.
Okay. A nice picture, Mataji.
Lata Mataji will be.
Face is very nice.
Though
Explain,
everything, yes, Prabhuji. Here Krishna is there, and the entire globe and the universe, though everything is rested in Krishna. Everything is a maintainer, everything is rested in him. Still he is aloof. This is the Yoga Ishwaryam, the mystical, inconceivable power of the Lord. This is the relationship that he has with the material energies and with the, that is, even though everything is in him, he is situated with his inconceivable energy, but still he is aloof. That's what we are showing in this, Prabhuji, and it will be continued by Archana Mataji.
Prabhuji, by just simply supreme will, everything is created, maintained, sustained, and annihilated. That he has no difference between himself and his mind. We all have a difference between the material body and our soul, but he is not having that because he is the supreme. That is the point I want to say, Prabhuji. And though everything is created by him, everything is being controlled by him, he is not coming under this. He stands aloof from all this. That is what
Thus, we would like to conclude by saying that he is different from the material manifestation, even though everything is resting on him.
Guruji, one more analogy is there. Like it is not mentioned in the book. It's like our one. Can we explain?
Yes, please explain.
Yeah. Okay.
See, Guruji, this is the cup of milk. Okay, cup of milk.
Okay.
See, usually people will ask, how do we get ghee? Ghee through milk. But then someone may ask immediately give milk, ghee from milk, but this is not possible because to get ghee from milk, various processes there, like from milk to buttermilk, curd, then buttermilk, then butter, then ghee, like that. Like in this milk, this milk is nothing but of universe. Like we everyone are resting on Vishnu, but this ghee is like Vishnu, but Vishnu is not resting on us. Like from ghee we can't get milk, like that. That's it.
Yeah, this is like Sutre Maniganaiva. Krishna is the thread, and this world is like a garland. Krishna is not visible. Even though ghee is there in milk, the ghee is not visible unless we have a process to identify the ghee or identify the thread or identify Krishna. Unless we surrender to the process, we will not be able to see him.
He will be in avyakta form, as like in milk ghee is resting.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So in this way, Krishna is explaining us how he is in this world. Just like when Krishna comes here, we should not understand Krishna to be an ordinary person like us. Krishna is completely a different personality, and nobody can become like Krishna. Only we can appreciate Krishna's position, and we can take the advantage of having his being here and his facilities that he has made to take us back to Godhead. Yes, Siddharth Prabhu, you want to add something?
And just I want to add that the picture is really, really beautiful. So a lot of comments.
Very nice.
Beautiful picture.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, let us continue about what Srila Prabhupada says about this. Here is a list of analogies and important points that we have discussed now. So text verse number 4, it is talking about the creation rests on Krishna, but he is aloof. The example is given analogy as the king and department. The king is personally present in his kingdom, in the palace, and his power is there everywhere. Similarly, Krishna, has his own abode, the Goloka Vrindavana, but because of his energy, omnipotency, he is there everywhere. Jagadavyakta Murtina, Nachaham Teshu Avastitha. Then in the next one, 5 to 8, that is 5, 6, 7, 8, he is explaining everything on Krishna's order. That is, everything happening, whatever is happening, it is like by the order of Krishna only. But Krishna is not attached to them, attached to the activities. Just like when the wind is there in the sky is allowing the wind to be or to be present there. But the sky is not attached to the wind. That is his Yoga Maishvara. Then 9th verse is talking about Krishna is responsible for everything, but he is neutral or detached. It's like if there is no high court judge, we cannot have the judgment in the court. So in one sense, we can say everything that is happening in the court, it is because of the judge. Somebody is being hanged, it is because of the judge. Somebody is being rewarded because of the judge. But that is externally we can see like that, because of the judge, everything is happening. But it is the living entity who is desiring, or the person, a criminal or a person who is under the law, because of his activity, according to that, all the decisions will be taken. It is not whimsically some activities are being done. That is not the case. So the High Court judge example is given. Krishna is responsible for everything, but he is not attached to anything. We identify ourselves with our activity and we take the credit and we get entangled. But Krishna, he is Udasina. Finally, the 10th verse, he is the president, or Maya Adhyakshena Prakriti. By his glance, Krishna activates the matter, injects jivas, but he is aloof. Just by seeing Krishna's all senses are divine, he can do anything through any of the senses. Just like through the eyes, he can impregnate. He can inject the jivas into the material world. The analogy here is the smell of the flower. The fragrance, when the flower is nearby, we get the fragrance. but we don't touch the flower, or our nose doesn't touch the flower, but only the fragrance that comes to our nose. Similarly, Krishna, he is controlling everything from a distance without touching the material world directly. That is Mayadhyakshena Prakriti. Now, having known all these things, people still understand Krishna to be an ordinary person. For those people, Krishna says that Avajananti mam mudha manushim tanum ashritam param bhavam ajananto mama bhuto maheshwaram. When Krishna comes here to show his pastimes, he looks like an ordinary person. He also does all kinds of activities that an ordinary person does, because he is coming here to teach us a lesson. So he will also come and he will also live like us. But we should not mistake him to be an ordinary person, because the activity that he has conducted, it is not possible for any of the living entity. Just like Krishna is killing so many demons in his childhood, and all the activity that he has done, he is instructing Arjuna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, this Bhagavad Gita, and his killing of so many demons throughout the Krishna book. You can see Bhagavatam, how nicely it is explaining. So these all activities shows that Krishna is not an ordinary person. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah, Pooja Mataji, you can read.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the Supreme Lord of all that be. Bhagavad Gita 9.11. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Nandita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. From the other explanations of the previous verses in this chapter, it is clear that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although appearing like a human being, is not a common man. Material bodies cannot perform the wonderful acts described in previous verses. 9.11. Hare Krishna.
Hare. Krishna's body is not material. His body is not made of 5 elements, and his body doesn't have the blood, bone, flesh like us. His body is fully transcendental. In our body, within this body, we have the soul. It's like we are not this body. We are the soul, and the soul is entangled within this body. That's why it is said the soul gets embodied. Embodied means, just like we say empowered. Empowered means one who has given the power. The police is empowered by the government. That means the police is as powerful as the government. If anything happens to the police, the whole government is there to protect him or to support him. Similarly, the soul is embodied. That means the body is given to him. The body doesn't belong to him. Just like the power doesn't belong to the police or the government officer, but it is given to him. Similarly, we are embodied, but Krishna is not embodied. He has the divine form, and this form, or this body, this transcendental body of Krishna, is not made up of these 5 elements. So because of that, he can do so many activities which is impossible by our body. Krishna lifted Govardhana hill with his small finger without any effort. That is possible because he is having the divine form, that is the body, the transcendental body that he has. It will not create any problem for him. Just like if we try to do that, our hand will break, or our finger will fracture, or we cannot even think of lifting. Forget about lifting that big hill. We cannot even lift some, not even 100 kg we cannot lift. So what to think about lifting a hill? But Krishna can do it. But even after knowing all these things, people don't understand because they don't practice Krishna consciousness, or they have not got the mercy of the devotees, because of which they will not able to understand what is Krishna, what is his position. So they deride him, and they say that Krishna is also an ordinary person. He is also like us only. Yeah, Archana Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. His body is called here Manusim because he is acting just like a man, a friend of Arjuna's, a politician involved in the battle of Kurukshetra. In so many ways, he is acting just like an ordinary man.
Yeah, thank
Hare
you.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare. Krishna is giving examples how we should be in this world, or he is giving the best example. Just like when Arjuna, Krishna, he was with Arjuna, he is the best friend of Arjuna. How a friend should be, that is Krishna is showing. And when he is with Yudhishthir Maharaj, he is so obedient to Yudhishthir Maharaj that he went to Duryodhana as a messenger, taking the message from the Yudhishthir Maharaj to Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra about the war. So in this way, Krishna has done so many activities, and all these activities are really wonderful. But people who look at Krishna as a manusha or a human being, for them he'll be like a politician. He's the best politician who can do all the activities according to his will, and he was very successful in his activities. So in this way, people will think of him, but they will never understand that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah, Pooja Mataji.
Hare Krishna. They cannot imagine that a form like that of a human being can simultaneously control the infinite and the minute. Actually, although he is controlling the infinite and the finite, he is apart from all this manifestation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Krishna can control the infinite, that is bigger than the biggest, and minute, the smaller than the smallest. He is controlling everything. Yachakshureshu savita sakala grahanam raja samasta suramurti rashesha teja yasyajnaya brahmati samvrata kala chakro govindamadi purusham tamah bhaja. Because of Krishna's order, all the planetary systems are moving. The sun is moving, the moon is moving. Because of him, the day and nights are coming. This is all because of Krishna. So he is the controller of all the infinite creation, whatever is there. And he is there in each and every atom. So he is controlling the minute as well. So this kind of activity is not possible by anyone. So by taking all these examples, we should understand Krishna to be transcendental. Lata Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. It is clearly stated concerning his Yogeshwaryam, is inconceivable transcendental energy that he can control the infinite and the finite simultaneously, and that he can remain aloof from them. Verse 9.11. Purport.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
So this is all about Yoga Maheshwaram of Krishna, understanding which we will be able to understand, or we will not confuse, or we will not misunderstand Krishna to be an ordinary person. And if we think Krishna to be an ordinary person, what is the problem? We will not be able to do devotional service, or we will not be able to understand Bhagavad Gita itself. As it is told by Srila Prabhupada in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, in the introduction. If you want to know what is Bhagavad Gita, then first of all, you should accept that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If we are not accepting Krishna to be Supreme Personality of Godhead, and if we just think that he is an ordinary person, then there are so many instructions in Bhagavad Gita which we will not be able to understand. Just like this Maya Adhyakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam. Or Krishna is telling Arjuna, Neha Vikramanashosti Pratyavayo Anavidyate Swalpamapyasya Dharmasya Trayate Mahato Bhayat. Arjuna, you may say that by killing these people you get sin. But on my order, if you act, you will not get sin, because acting on my order is called devotional service. So who can tell this? Except Krishna. Nobody can tell, because no demigod also cannot tell. If a demigod says, if you do all these things to me, you will not get sin. No, that is not possible. Only Krishna can do this. So only Krishna can speak Bhagavad Gita. If anybody else speaks Bhagavad Gita, then that will not have the potency, because Krishna has having the unique position. So that Krishna only has to speak. If we say all these principles, it belongs to anybody else, then it will all these teachings or whatever knowledge that Krishna is giving to Arjuna, they will not have the potency. Because Krishna is telling all these things, it has the real potency, and it belongs to the actual person or the person who has all those qualities. He only have to speak. And if we don't accept that person to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then we are just keeping ourselves away from the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, or we are running away from the reality, or we are trying to extract something else from Bhagavad Gita, which is not the real benefit of reading Bhagavad Gita. So understand Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then our study of Bhagavad Gita will be complete. So today we have seen the most confidential knowledge, that is Rajaguhyam, and some philosophical points on Raja Vidya verse, that is 9.2. We have seen word by word meaning. Then Krishna's relationship with the material world, and then Krishna's evaluation of those who deride him when he descends to this material world in the human form of life. Finally, let us hear from Srila Prabhupada. Raghunath Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
To accept God as a man and to accept man as a God, this is rascaldom. We can understand who is an intelligent man and who is a rascal by this criteria. Krishna is canvassing surrender unto him, but the Mudas, they will not accept it. Avajananti mam Muda. Oh, why shall I accept Krishna?
Continue, Prabhu.
I have got my own God. I manufacture my God. So we have got very shortcut criteria to understand a rascal and intelligent man. What is that? If he is a devotee of Krishna, then he is intelligent man. If he is not, then he is rascal. That's all. Bhagavad Gita 9.11.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So one sentence, Prabhupada clarified everything. If he is a devotee of the Lord, he is the most intelligent man. Krishna jo bhaje se bada chatura. Or one who is not a devotee of Krishna, he is called as the rascal. That's Srila Prabhupada is explaining. In this way, we can understand the real position of the Lord, and we will be able to take the real benefit of understanding Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita has to be understood in the association of devotees, and with the mercy of the Lord, we will be able to understand Bhagavad Gita. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we have concluded this first part of 9th chapter. Second part we'll be doing in the next week. If you have any questions in this class, today's class, you can raise your hand and ask the questions. Yeah, Nandita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. In 9.2, it is mentioned perfection of religion. How exactly is religion defined here, Prabhu?
Religion means to serve the Lord. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said, Savai Pumso Paro Dharmo Yatho Bhakti Radokshade Ahaituki Apratihata Yayatma Suprasidati. There are so many kinds of religion. These all are called Kaitava Dharma. Dharma Projita Kaitavotra Paramo Nirmatsaranam Satam Vedyam Vastavamatra Vastu Shivadam Tapatrayan Bulanam. All kinds of Kaitava Dharma is removed from Srimad Bhagavatam. What is that Kaitava Dharma? The Dharma which says something and it will give some other result. In the previous ages, those processes may be working, but at the present moment, it may not be working. Such kind of Dharma is not real Dharma. It is called Kaitava Dharma or cheating religion. But devotional service to Krishna, it is giving the actual result what it is promising. So it is the real benefit. Dharma, what we say, it has to be the devotional service to the Lord, and any activity that takes us to Krishna, that is dharma. So this is what is mentioned in that text.
So, Prabhu, Ahaituki, that verse that you quoted, what was the number, please?
Savai pumso paro dharma. Just a minute, Mataji. I will check.
Prabhu, I'll find it, no problem. I got the
It is
beginning.
1 minute to find out. It is 1 to 6, Mataji.
Sorry, Prabhu?
Canto 1, chapter 2,
Yes, Prabhu.
text number 6.
6. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Siddharth Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam once again, Prabhu. I have a very, very general doubt.
Yeah.
General doubt is even before the Bhakti Jago starts, that is from 6 to 12, everywhere, I mean, before even Gita was spoken, even Veda was, I mean, from the Vedic time also, we find that Vedanam aham eva vedyaha. So even before Bhagavatam was told, it was known that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and Bhakti is the process and the most easiest process. Then what could be the reason that actually, that when the knowledge was available, everything was available, people actually went for that torturous, so much of difficult path of Ashtanga yoga. In fact, Patanjali yoga has come later on, but it was there. So that is first question. Why actually people were preferring to go for that? Because here you have got, first of all, easy process and also benefits are more. In the sense that, you know, I mean, we are getting not only relieved, but at the same time, we are purified.
Yes.
So this knowledge was there with them as well. So why, I mean, why they were actually doing this difficult job?
Yes.
That is first question. My second question is, what are the various books that is there in the back of yours? In your screen, so many books are there.
Oh, okay.
Which are those books?
Okay. Second question is not okay. Fine. First question I will answer. So this why people were going. See, whenever somebody comes to spirituality, somebody coming to Veda, it is not that they are interested in Krishna or interested in spirituality. Veda will take everyone into consideration. A karmi, a person who is living like animal, who is only earning and eating, he will also have something in the Veda. When he comes to Veda, he will understand actually everything is being controlled by the demigods. And these demigods, if I control them, or if I give them some bribe, or if I worship them, then they will give me back something. Devan bhavayatanena te deva bhavayantuvaha parasparam bhavayantaha siddhim paramamapsasi. Third chapter Bhagavad Gita says. That is, you satisfy the demigod, demigod will satisfy you. By satisfying each other, you become happy. So this is like, this is not the real religion or dharma, but this is also dharma. Because this is not going to continue eternally. Either you are going to give up your body, or demigod also may give up his position. It is like how long you are going to bribe, or how long you can go on like this. It is not eternal dharma, but it is there. For a person who is just like, if you go to colleges for preaching, if you say for any student, you chant this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, you go back to Godhead, he will never take to it. But if you say, you chant this Mahamantra, you get more concentration, your marks will improve. Yes, he will accept. You can easily control your senses. He will accept it. So whoever comes to Veda, he will not come with the ultimate purpose. He will come with something else. So Veda has everything. It has n number of facility. You want good health, it is there. You want wealth, it is there. You have one name, you want knowledge, you want anything, you want to go to heaven, it is there. You want to know Ayurveda, you want to know what is there in the past, present, future. Jyotish Shastra is there. Ayurveda is there. So knowledge, collection of all knowledge is Veda. But people get diverted. Even those who come to devotional service also, they get deviated. People try to learn Sanskrit. And by learning Sanskrit, they try to read so many books. And after reading so many books, they get confused. And they lose the track. Prabhupada says, read my books. And they read so many other books. And it is like Tarko Apratishta Shrutaya Vibhinna Nashra Rishiryasya Matam Na Vibhinnam Dharmasya Tattvam Nihitam Guhaya Mahajanoyena Gata Sapanta. Dharmasya Tattvam Nihitam Guhaya. You cannot understand, you cannot figure out. Either you may be a scholar of Sanskrit, you cannot figure out what is real Dharma unless you surrender to the Parampara. So person get deviated. So all these things are there, and unless a person is submissive, surrendered, these things will act like a hook, like a person who wants to cheat Krishna or wants to exploit Krishna. These people gets attracted by this. This will act like a filter. If we are going to Krishna to become powerful, okay, you don't have to go to Krishna. You just do this, you will become powerful. If you really want to go to Krishna for asking for some wealth, no, don't go to Krishna. You do this, you will get this. So this is easiest process. No need to go to Krishna. You go to Krishna only if you want to get Krishna. So these all are filters which will stop us in between, so that Krishna will get only those people who are really want to do devotional service or want to serve him. Otherwise people will be stopped there itself. So people will easily get attracted to such things. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also warning us, don't read too many books. You get confused. Even our acharyas, previous acharya books, Goswami's books, it is there. But don't read it unless you read Prabhupada books at least 6 times. All books. Reading Srila Prabhupada's books at least once itself will take one lifetime. And Prabhupada is telling at least 6 times you should read these books. Thoroughly understand it. Then you can read any other book. It is easy to get deviated. And people get deviated, we can see. We don't value that devotional service. And we can see so many sages previously, they did not take to Krishna consciousness or devotional service. And people who fought with Krishna, even though they qualified to see Krishna, they could not understand his position. So that is the tendency of human being. Even Indra fought with Krishna. Hope this answers your question.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
So
my behind there is nothing, Prabhu. It's a virtual screen, that's all.
Okay.
There is no books.
Great.
There is a green screen, that's all. This image is available in the Google image. You can just type Zoom background, you will find this image.
I thought these are Prabhupada's books.
No, this is just a background I kept. It looks nice.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Vijay
Krishna,
Prabhu,
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, in 9th chapter 6th shloka, actually it is said that not even a grass can move, a blade of grass can move without the permission of the Supreme Lord. So means we all are doing sinful activities, we are doing non-devotional activities. So why doesn't Supreme Lord forces us and to do the devotional bhakti only and takes us back into his kingdom? Means why we are given that freedom?
Yeah, Krishna has unlimited facility for us. He is ready to give us as many bodies as we need and as much food as we need. And as long as we want to live here, he will facilitate it. He will not force us. He don't want the forceful love. Then there is no meaning for the love. Krishna is the cause. Yes, Krishna is the root cause, or he is the remote cause. He is not the immediate cause. What is the difference between root cause and immediate cause? Now, if I want to eat what I should eat, that is my decision. That is, I am the immediate cause of my eating. I go to kitchen, I cook something, and what vegetable I want to use, it is in my freedom. I can buy and I can cook and I can eat. but the remote cause is Krishna. Why? Because when I eat, if it is not getting digested, and if I am want to cook, if there is Krishna is not sanctioning it, then it will not happen. Krishna is the root cause of it, because of which everything is happening. But because Krishna has facilitated it, I am able to use it in my small freedom, whatever possible. So that freedom Krishna will not take away. Krishna wants us to use that freedom to serve him. Those who use their freedom to serve Krishna, they are devotees. Those who use their freedom to serve their senses, they are non-devotees. Krishna will not interrupt us in that position. But for the devotees or non-devotees, the root supplier is Krishna only. In that sense, whether a person is doing devotional service or somebody is murdering someone, it is Krishna only facilitating everything. He is the remote cause. Unless Krishna facilitates, nothing is going to happen. That is told in that sense. Hope this answers your question.
Yes, Babaji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, if there are no more questions, then we'll stop for today. Let us continue in the next class. Okay, Latha Mataji.
Prabhuji, the question that first you said, always remember God and not to forget Krishna. The process is very easy, as you said it. And I really don't know how to put this question actually, Prabhuji. To remember God always, it is whether just to say that everything is in you, everything, you are everything, and I think of you, whatever I do, it's for you, it is you, it is you, it is you, Krishna, 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 Krishna. That is it? Is it okay? Is it the okay process?
Yeah. See, for materialistic people, devotees look like mad people.
Yes, Prabhuji.
And for devotees, these materialistic people look like mad people. They don't match. Prahlad Maharaj was very much confused why his father is behaving like this and why people are running around so much, why they are worried so much. Why can't they just sit and remember the Lord? Because he is the Acharya for Shravana or Smarana. He is always remembering the Lord. So don't worry about the external material world, but we are living in the material world. So we should act accordingly. But internally, we should always remember Krishna. Remembering Krishna doesn't mean that we should always say Krishna, Krishna everywhere, wherever we go. That need not be done. But we should know that whatever activity we are doing, finally it is for the pleasure of the Lord. Just like parents, whatever they do, finally it is for the betterment of their children. Whatever they earn, whatever they gain, they make the facility, everything they make in keeping their children in their as the main point or at the center. Similarly, just keep Krishna at the center. Whatever you do, make sure that your devotional life is not sacrificed, or make sure that you are always having the opportunity to think about Krishna and have some exclusive time for Krishna. And for your, as long as we are in this material world, we should work for our body. So that we have to do, we have to manage. But we should have some exclusive time for remembering Krishna also. Prabhupada told it is like a sandwich. The morning program and evening program, that must be there. And in between, we can work for certain hours of time so that we can maintain this body.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Archana Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, actually this is not a question to you. I just want to say this point as Siddharth Prabhuji was asking a question. So I just felt I should say this point. So I have raised my hands, Prabhuji. That is, he was asking a question, when Bhagavad Gita is full of knowledge and which has come earlier, and this Patanjali Yoga and all that which is coming after that, why many people are going behind that instead of Bhagavad Gita, was his question. So I felt that this point will also add up. Patanjali Yoga, when they do, they are actually showing off to people by different postures and all that. Now, for example, in this modern days, there are so many gymnastic people who show their muscular strength and all that and attract people towards them. So this is like what to say, in Instagrams, Facebooks, everywhere, Facebook, whatever social media we go, they show different postures and they attract people. And most people get attracted towards that. Though we post so many messages for, we have 18 days course, it is free course, we give certificates and all, we post so many certificates. We don't get so many likes, we don't get so many comments, but there are so many people who go behind them, thinking that they are very great. They are doing so many so many things to change, transform their body and all that. We are telling them, though they are transforming their body and posting so many posts, they are not so happy, Prabhuji. After posting, they say, oh, I got only so much likes, I got only so much comment, I have to get more, I expected more, I have very less fans and all that. But we are chanting only 16 rounds, but we are happier than them. When we say this, also people don't understand. This is the main reason why people go behind all this Patanjali Yoga system, which is showing so many attractive features. Then we show a book, we say, we give them, we have to read so much, Prabhuji, only then we get knowledge from Bhagavad Gita. But these people see the external features of this Patanjali Yoga, so they go behind that. So I felt I will say this as a point.
Yes, it's a byproduct of that. Actually, unless a person comes to Samadhi, the process is incomplete. But generally, as I have seen many places, people will only be in the asana state. Even I asked one teacher, I asked him, how many of your students will reach the Samadhi state? He told hardly anybody. They'll be stuck with this asana itself, and they are happy with that itself. They will never go up. Maybe they can go up to pranayama. They will do pratyahara also very rare. Then forget about going to Samadhi state. So, but here Krishna consciousness is directly going to the Samadhi, or the remembering of Krishna. May not be in the beginning, the devotee may not be able to think of Krishna 24 hours, but at least he is beginning the real process, or the ultimate goal. His process is correct, or the goal is correct in this process. But in that process, he is just getting satisfied with some bodily transformation or material benefit. Yeah. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Okay. If there are no more questions, then we'll stop for today. We'll continue in the next class. I thank all the devotees for coming today's class and actively participating. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta koti vaishnavebhyo
Jai. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.